Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Fantasy Friday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Who-Man. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging, and here we have it. And then on the front here, you can see it's got some nice Savage Crucible type artwork, I guess is what, I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's really cool looking. And they're all different. They're all different, or at least they seem to be all different. So, that's a very cool one. We got some skulls there with psychic abilities. An evil looking eyeball, a warrior here, some swords. So that's cool. Then Savage Crucible on this side, and then that same artwork, just a closer in view of it on this side. And then same on this side as far as the artwork goes, and then it says Who-Man. And then it's got this thing. So on the bottom, warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there, and don't give it to babies. There it is in some other languages too. Harvinger Studios, there's their address and stuff if you want to write them a letter. Savage Crucible, all related elements are copyrighted 2019 to 2024. Property of Harvinger Studios, Incorporated, all rights reserved. Barcode, made in China. And then finally, around on the back, I'll pause it. Or you can pause it. I'm not going to pause it. I'll stop right here for a second. You can pause it and read all of this if you want to. And then now you can pause it here and read the rest of it if you want to. Harvinger Studios down here. Does that do it for the packaging? No way, Jose. Wait, there is more. This flap right here is held in place by some Velcro. You open it up, you got a nice big window showcasing the figure and accessories, and a map in the back. And then there is a text blurb to go with the figure if you want to pause that right here. If I can get it in focus. Pause it right here and read all that. You can do that. And moving right along, you can pause it right here and complete the text. And that, my friends, does it for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And to help with the smaller accessories, here we have handy dandy tweezers. And the first set, or the first accessories we'll look at, he comes with 2 extra pairs of hands. So we'll take a look at those first. And these are grip hands on in and out hinges. The grip hands that are on the figure have up and down hinges. So nice molded details. Looks like he can hold stuff pretty good. And same for this hand, only it's the opposite side. So very cool. And the next set of hands are the splayed finger or gripping, or they're coming to get you, Barbara. So again, nice molded details on here. In and out hinge. I mean, just look at that detail. It's very, very nice. And he's got some bulgy knuckles, fingernails. Well, I guess it could also be a thing hand. So again, same thing as the previous hand. It applies to this, and really cool. I like the fact that they're getting in and out and up and down hinge grip hands. Next up we have his shield, which is a nice gold color. It looks like it might have some slight wash on it in a translucent-y color. I can't really explain it. I can see it on the camera, so I'm hoping you guys can see that too. And it's got some symbols etched into the edge of his shield. It's got holes here. I'm assuming that's for spears or stuff, you know, to come from Who-Man to his opponents. And then it's got some spikes on it that are I won't say, like if you jabbed yourself really hard with it, you might pierce the skin. They're very pointy. On the back side, we've got a similar setup to Mythic Legions, where the handle comes out and then you have separate ports for it. This, I'm not exactly sure what this piece is for. It also pulls out, although I'm not going to pull it all the way out. So you can use any of these ports for the handle or this piece, whatever it happens to be. Again, I'm not sure, but you can see there's some nice molded detail even on the inside here, and you can see some of the wash, and I think it's even got some wash in here as well. Not as much as the outside, but the outside doesn't have a lot either. So there is that. The next piece is his extra head, which is his angry screaming head. And I really like the sculpt of this, and just like the colors overall for this figure. And you know, that really matters here in the head. Now I didn't realize, and I guess maybe I didn't look at the promotional pictures enough, but I didn't realize his eyes had that look to them, that glowing kind of look, but it's cool. And then you can see he's got some painted details inside the mouth, the tongue, and the teeth. And it looks like there's a bit of wash around the face too, to help all those stress lines kind of stand out. It's really cool. Next up we have, this is the weapon from the blind bag, the bonus surprise weapon, I guess they call it. And it looks to me like it has a translucent blue blade. If it's not blue, you know, I'm colorblind. It's a handicap. And I will get colors wrong, and I do it all the time. So it looks blue to me, and it's translucent. It's darker here at the cross guard, and then kind of lightens up as it goes along the blade. And then all of this appears to be a paint app. There's a little bit of slop right there, but it's not horrible. But yeah, I'm saying it's molded in this translucent plastic, and this is all wrapped. This sword is something that we have seen a few times in Savage Crucible, that I have covered at least. You know, it's got kind of got this bony spike here and a nice molded wrap, and these two rivets on both sides. And so cool looking, and I'm glad they give those you know, extra accessory pieces. And I think it's really cool that they're, you know, like energy or magic or what have you. And the same it goes for his main sword too. It's kind of a reddish orange. At least that's how it looks to me. If that's not the actual color, then, you know, again, like I said before, I'm going to get it wrong. So this whole thing is molded in this translucent plastic, and then the silver part here is painted on, and it looks like it's sprayed on, because it kind of, you see how it kind of fades out as it goes up into this. And then you can see there's some more of this color, that translucent bit here right above the hilt, and then nice paint app here, and then silver in here and silver on both of these ends, and then some gold for the pommel, or maybe it's bronze. But really, really cool looking. And again, maybe I didn't look at the promotional pictures enough or close enough, but I didn't notice that the end of the sword was like this either. And I don't know, that may be one of those things that they changed while they were in production or starting production, or, you know, because it may differ from the photos. Now let's take a look at the figure himself. And piercing eyes. That's all I can say about that. That just cuts you right through to the soul. And pretty much everything I said about the alternate head, the screaming head, you know, is the same for this one, only this is a scally head with a closed mouth, but it does look like it's got a bit of a wash to the face, the eyes and the eyebrows. Heck, even the shading in the wash might be inkjet, because I'm seeing the telltale of the little dots there. I could be wrong, but that's how it looks to me. It's a bit of wash here in the hair, so he washed his hair prior to the review. And then this piece, and just like Nash Orn, I really like the way that they do these shoulder armors. You know, they peg in to the back, similar to Mythic Legions, but it's on a ball joint, and then there's another joint right here where that post comes out to, so it works really well. Like when you're trying to photograph it, it gets out of the way really well. At least that's what I noticed. So it does have a nice gold to it. It may have a translucent spray over it as well. It's kind of hard to see it in the camera, but I'm seeing it a little bit like right here and around this. So yeah, I'm seeing it on the camera some too. So all that gold has like a translucent, I don't know if they painted it on, if they sprayed it on, if they washed it on, but it's on there, and it's on all of these gold pieces. Well, maybe not these gold pieces, but like his armor pieces, even these bracers, which again are spiked and kind of pointy. These aren't quite as pointy as the shield. These are, however, so again, be careful when you're handling this guy, because I don't want you to get poked if you don't want to get poked. And these may have a bit of that translucent wash on it as well. So this armor piece is one piece, and here's where you can unhook it, and I don't know where the other hook is. Probably isn't another hook. You unhook it here and probably pop the head off and get it. So, but nice, just great molded details throughout this. The body type is nice. Well, the I don't want that to sound weird, but the sculpted detail in the body and the way that they articulate it, I think is neat. I haven't seen it before outside of this line, but it could be something that import figures that I haven't really looked at do. And I will say, like, the knees may be like figure arts on their Dragon Ball, but it's hard to tell, especially with like a Goku, because they have really baggy pants. But the knees are probably similar to that, which means the elbows probably are too. But to me, I like it on this line. It makes sense to me. You got lots of nice little paint apps for rivets and just detail stuff. Some gold down here. Looks like there's a wash for these. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a leather piece or if it's metal plates, but it's probably leather because that's mostly how those pieces were made. And then it's got looks like a cloth under that, and it does have some nice textural details. I hope that's coming through there. You can see it right there on that. It's not cloth, it is plastic, a rubbery plastic. You can see it's split right here to allow some range of motion in the hips. And then we get down to his shin armor, which is, you know, it matches up with this. And again, spikes. Again, these spikes are like these. They're not quite as pointy as these or the ones on the shield. So there is that. And again, it's got that translucenty, shiny wash or overspray or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it gives it a cool sheen. So here we have some nice molded details for his boot tops, I guess. So there's that. And, you know, a pretty plain looking boot feet. There's a seam right here. You can see it's got some, like it's sewn together there. And so really overall, I mean, these guys, to me, Harvinger Studios is, you know, on par and maybe even a little better than Mythic Legions with their sculpting and paint detail. And that's not just, I'm not saying, oh, Savage Crucible is better than Mythic Legion. No, I'm not trying to say that. I love both of these lines, and this is fast becoming a favorite line of mine when I can get a hold of this stuff, because I don't, for some reason, I don't pre-order it all that well. My first experience with the line, we'll save that for the end if I remember to tell you all about it. So we've talked about the deco, we've talked about the sculpt. Let's talk about the articulation. So again, I've talked about how this piece is articulated, and I love it. So there's a dumbbell at the head. Neck and torso, or neck and chest, are one piece. And you've got a ball in the neck and a ball in the head. So he doesn't really look up because of his hair. He can look down that far, so wow. That's how he looks at his opponents. So he's got some chicken neck. He's got waggle, and God dang, look at that. Oh, he got sideways chicken neck too. Whew. Don't make Who-Man mad. He can do the full X's with a slight bit of difficulty. It's not too bad. At the shoulder, they're on a butterfly joint that you can kind of see in there. Of that kind of, it reminds me of import figures. So it doesn't really go back. That's as far back as it goes, and forward I get it to go that far, and you can see how the hinge piece kind of comes out. Reminds me kind of old Toy Biz Marvel Legends that had the butterfly. So there's that. So he's got that on both sides. It works better on this side than this side because of these armor pieces. So, and let's also take a look at, yeah. So, goes all the way around. This armor piece, there's a hole in, or a port in the back of the upper shoulder piece, and this pins into that, and it will move up and down on that. And this is pinned the same way, although it doesn't move. So, there is a cut at the upper bicep, but it's weird. I don't know exactly how these guys are put together, but as you can see, this lower part of the arm isn't rotating much. and that does. So I'm guessing from the elbow part to the shoulder it's pinned in there, and this is just like a sleeve that lays over that. Then he has a double hinged pinless elbow, but it's like the elbow piece is here to here. So let's see, with his armor bits on, he can get that much bend out of it, and I hope I got all that on camera. Gosh. And then this piece it's kind of like the same as this. It rotates around, and then rotation at the wrist 360 degrees, and like I mentioned before, it is up and down hinge, and then this side is up and down hinge as well. There is a cut right along where this strap and this armor piece go, and it works in conjunction. It's on a ball joint or a half dumbbell, just like the waist piece here, and in conjunction, you know, they get all kinds of hula. The upper part, with some difficulty, will rotate 360 degrees. At the waist, he does not want to rotate 360 degrees. So you get one and not the other, I guess. So that's about as far as it rotates at the waist. And it may be this overlay keeping it in position, because I got a little bit further that time. So it may go all the way around. I'm not going to force it though. So working in conjunction, those two hinges allow him to lean back that far, crunch forward that far, and then he can lean left and right. So that's cool. Is there a pull down? I think it is a pull down, yeah. Pretty sure. No pull down. At the hips, no pull down hinge. Yeah. So he can, even without a pull down hinge, he can give you that much of the splits, which is really, really good. There is a rotation here where the thigh plugs into the hip, and it will give you 360 degrees worth of rotation there. He kicks forward not quite 90 degrees, and I think it's because of this overlay. And then backwards, it's not the overlay, it is his butt, and you get about half the length of his foot. So we already talked about the rotation there at the hip. There is also rotation at the knee, probably both ends of the knee. But here you can see how the knee is put together. It's got a hinge that plugs in here and a hinge that plugs in here. So how much knee bend do we get out of that? Double hinged pinless? About that much. So it's still really good. I like it. So the feet plug up into the ankle plugs up into the calf there. So that does give him a 360 degree rotation right above the ankle. And then for the ankle, it tilts down that far. It tilts up that far. And it does have a pin for rocker. It is a bit stiff. And I will say, the ankles are still a bit weak. At least on my copy. You may not have that same issue. So as far as his weapons go, there's no storage for anything. He just has to hold stuff in his hand. You can put his shield in his hand and a sword in his hand. You can give him both of his swords, one in each hand. And I will say the hands are a little stiff, but it's not too difficult to get the accessories in there. But I like that they're like that so that you don't have to worry about him dropping stuff. So And there you have it, my friends. A look at Who-Man and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Who-Man with the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Nashorn the Disinherited, and the 2025 Convention Circuit exclusive Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Shield of Dazera. Here we have the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Who-Man with the Four Horsemen Studios 2025 Convention Circuit exclusive Legendary Barbarian, and the Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks Red Sonja. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Who-Man, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Who-Man, I have to say I'm really impressed with this figure. And I said earlier I'd tell you the story about, I keep having ankle issues with Savage Crucible. I had the Shield of Dazera. One of his was kind of froze up, if I remember correctly. And then the Royal Guard, he had really loose ankles. And Nashorn had really good ankles. And then Who-Man here, it's like, I don't know, if he's in a pose like this, he tends to do well. And if he's just, standing there on the shelf, that's when he seems to have problems. So I'm guessing it's like a weight distribution issue perhaps, and the ankles are a little bit loose, but not enough to say it's a detriment to the figure. And it's the ankle issues I had with the other two figures, it's not a big detriment to those either, just something to be aware of. And this figure looks fantastic. I was lucky enough to get him when he came back in stock at the Savage Crucible store. I don't have the website right here in front of me, but if you go to savagecrucible.com, you can find the store from that site. And so, I was pretty much expecting that Nashorn was going to be the only figure out of this wave that I got, but I lucked up and he was in stock. And you may check, if you're looking for this figure, check their website, because it may still be in stock. When I looked the other day, and there's no telling when this video is going to come out in relation to that, but check the website, it may still be up in stock there. And while I was in luck with this guy, their store did not have Warrior with Ball and Chain, or, oh gosh, I can't think of his name right off, the Barbarian guy. they were sold out. But just out of curiosity, I went and looked at Big Bad Toy Store. They had them in, and there was only one of each left, and so I got those secured. They're actually waiting on me in my pile of loot at this moment. As of the moment I'm recording this, I probably already have them in hand by the time you're watching this. So, and I gotta get those sent soon, because I want to get those guys in before the end of the year if I can. So, but this guy, the more I get figures from this line, the more I really like it. Sorry I said that. Trying to gather my thoughts a little bit. But they just look fantastic. And they do work well, at least in my opinion. They work well alongside Mythic Legion. So if you're looking for something that'll kind of go with it, and they don't match up 100%. I want to say there's a little bit more of, I don't want to necessarily say animated or cartoonish look to the Mythic Legions, but I would say Savage Crucible has a little bit more of a realistic look than Mythic Legions does. But again, it's not so far off that you can't use Savage Crucible in Mythic Legions and vice versa. So there is that. That's always a plus to me when you can cross lines over. I love that. And you know, his main sword here, as you see as he's spinning around, was a surprise to me, and I really like it. It's almost like, you know, I know this guy's kind of like their homage to He-Man, and you know, the sword even kind of gives off a little bit of that power sword look, maybe more of the movie version than the toy or animated version, and that's fine. But it almost looks like, you know, he can hold that sword up and it's that color because it gets struck by lightning. I don't know. I mean, not that, you know, he would survive that, but then again, his alternate head has glowy eyes, so maybe he would survive it. Maybe it charges him up by the power of the storm, I guess. I don't know. But regardless, this is a fantastic figure. I'm glad I got my hands on it, and I'm still not going in on this 100%. I'm not 100% on Mythic Legions. I just kind of pick and choose stuff that I really like. And, you know, if you do that too, then hey, but you know, if you're 100% all in on stuff too, go for it. And I wish you luck. And, you know, I just, they're very nice figures, and I do think they're worth the retail price of, which is, you know, some people can look at that as being steep, especially all the years that I spent collecting Marvel Legends at $20 a pop, and now they're $27 and some change. And so, you know, and the sticker shock is a thing. And, you know, it just depends on your own budget as to whether you can fit these guys in your collection or not. And, you know, there are ways to make it happen, but you have to plan ahead, which I'm not great at doing. But that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.